For this tutorial, I'll use Text Converter's auto mode for the detail records, and then I'll use manual mode to parse the title from the header record. I'll use a Text Converter function to grab the file name and the file system object to get that file modified date. I'm going to go ahead and open this data source. It's a PDF file that you have. It was included with your Text Converter installation. And we're going to open it in automatic mode. And you can see it did a great job of parsing out the fields in the records, but there's some data in this file that's not extracted. And if you want to see that data, you click Show All Lines here in the conversion options. And now you can see two new records at the top of the input preview and one new record at the bottom of the input preview. In my dynamic output preview, my first field is much wider. All the data is still there. It's just pushed off to the right. And again, I have these extra fields. I'm going to write a little bit of script here. Let me hide this pane to make some room. Very simple piece of script. Just right click and choose On Record. And you see when I hit dot, a list of available functions pops up, and I'm going to choose Is Delimited, meaning if it is part of the pattern, we're going to keep it. And if it's not part of the pattern, we'll use this great little function. It's called skip record, and it does exactly what it's called. It just skips the record. Let's check the syntax to make sure I didn't make any typos there. It compiled successfully. And go back to the preview, and you can see now those extra fields are not shown in the dynamic output preview. The next step here is to create some fields in my output dictionary to hold the new data. So I'm going to create fields for the PDF title, file name, and date. Let's make that a little bit wider. I'm just right-clicking to get that new field. And this one can be a date type, so I don't need to worry about the width. Now that I have my new fields, I need to put some data in them. Multi-select works great here. I'll select all three and create script conversion. And you can see it puts the dictionary out fields into my script with this placeholder word value. I'm going to take this whole block of text here, Control X to cut, and I'm going to paste it into the Is Delimited section. All right, and tab it in, make it nice and neat. For the title, I'm going to have to declare a little variable here. And we'll set that value for the title to title. For the file name, there's a function I could use. So we can skip a whole step here. It's this dot, and again, see that pop-up list? And we'll just do a get file. And that gets the input file name. That's built right into Text Converter. And we'll make another variable here called date. All right. I'm going to parse the title from that non-delimited part of the data. So I'm going to put it down here in the else part above skip record. Tab it in a little bit. And it's if this get record number equals 2, since I know it's in record number 2, see it here in the input preview, then we'll trim the title out of that record. Let's check the syntax. Compiled successfully, and we can see here in the dynamic output preview that this is working. I have the file name, I have the title, and I have the date. Oh, but that's today's date. I'm going to need to parse the real date out of this file. To get the modified date for the input file, I'll start by declaring a couple of new variables, those in here. And then I'm going to create the file system object. This is an object in Windows. You can use in any of your VB script. Now I'll use text converters get input file that we used earlier in the script here. I'm going to use that as a parameter for my sub-object. And finally, I'm going to use a property of that sub-object to set the value for my field. Now let's take a look at the preview. And voila, we have the actual PDF file creation date. I'm all set to set my output data source. I can use OLEDB, ODBC, anything I want. I'll just set a flat file here. We'll go ahead and run the extraction. And we'll use the built-in data browser to get a look at the results. That looks pretty good. Let me just open up that file name field. Oh, that is beautiful. That is Simex Text Converter 2.2. So I've parsed the PDF file name from the header record. I've grabbed the actual file name using a text converter object in VB script, and then I've gotten the file date using a combination of a Windows VB script object and a text converter object. That's Simex Text Converter version 2.2.